Hi there, so it's Elizabeth, and I have completed my Gummy Bear assignment, and I started out by going to purchase materials. I got the salt and just a couple of plastic cups we had around the house, and then I went to buy gummy bears, and I bought the off-brand because it was cheaper, and as it turns out, they were little dots and not bears. But they were still gummies, and they seem to have worked the same way that gummy bears would. So they're going to be dots and they're going to look a little different, but it's the same general thing. I started out by filling one of the cups, the one on the left you see in the photo right here, with just regular distilled water, and then I filled the one on the right with water and saturated the water with salt. And you can kind of see there's still a little bit of salt at the bottom in that one. And then I took two of my gummies and I placed one in each of the containers and I let them sit overnight. They were in there for approximately 9 hours. And then I came back in the morning. So this is what I came back to in the morning. You can see the gummies look a little bit different. This one looks a little clearer, and this one seems to be a little more solid, I guess. And then I set up this display here. You can see there's the distilled water and the salt water, and then this is your normal gummy, and you're going to see the size comparison between them all. So this is what they looked like when I took them out, and you can see you have your normal gummy right here on the very far left, and then you've got your distilled water gummy right here, and it has significantly grown in size. It's expanded quite a bit. It's pretty easy to see that. The saltwater gummy is a little bit less obvious. It does appear to have changed. This was a red color. This appeared to have changed color, and it does seem to maybe have gotten a little bit smaller, but other than just texture, you can't really tell too much of a difference in size with this one. So this picture kind of gives you a better perspective on the size. You can see your normal, and then you've got your expanded distilled water gummy and your salt water, which you can see is a little bit smaller in this photo. It's easier to see the size difference between that and the normal gummy. And then here's one more shot, and something else that I thought was really interesting, just something to note, is that when I put the gummy in the distilled water and left it overnight, it actually lost some of its coloration on the bottom of the gummy. And so did the salt water, but the whole thing kind of faded with the salt water because it was red. And with the distilled water, it just appears clear on the bottom in these photos. So that's the last picture, and you can really get a good look at that clear coloring in this photo. So what this experiment displays is the process of osmosis. Osmosis is the process by which molecules of a solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one, thus equalizing the concentrations on each side of the membrane. So you can see that this process has worked in both of our test examples. In the distilled water, the bear has expanded because the water has moved by diffusion through the bear's semi-permeable membrane in order to achieve an isotonic state in which the concentration of water molecules inside the bear are the same as the concentration of water molecules outside of the bear. And that causes the overall expansion of the gummy itself, is because water is going into the gummy to balance out the salt concentration that you have there. And then with the saltwater gummy, the bear has shrunk because water has moved out of the gummy in order to even out the concentration. Due to this, there's less water filling up the gummy and it's smaller. So the general idea is if one side has a higher salt concentration, the water is going to go towards that side in order to balance it out and make it more even. So the water left the gummy to balance out all the salt that was in the water that surrounded the gummy. And with the distilled water, the water entered the gummy to balance out all the salt that was in the gummy versus no salt that was in the distilled water. And this process is, again, called osmosis. And that's about all for my presentation. So thank you guys for watching.